Hey everyone, so in this video we'll cover about functions. So function is nothing but a piece of code or block of code, which will run when it's called. Like I'll tell you with example. Okay, so let's take you are throwing a party. So you are inviting your friends. Like every time you are calling, so you are inviting people like Gorisha. So like welcome Gorisha, welcome to my home. So in that way you are just printing the messages, or so welcome to my home Ishika. So it's like you are just writing the names in this format. Okay, so because the properties, the thing is same actually. So instead of calling the particular person like every time like printing these things and etc, you can create a function and you just need to pass the name as a variable there, then whatever you will get, so you'll get at the end. So ultimately what my point is, instead of doing the repetitive task, okay, so one functionality is there, one code is there, so you're using that multiple times in your execution. Like you're just calling like print and hello welcome to my home, and in the places you're just giving that particular person name. Instead of all these things, you can just create a one simple function. After that, whenever you want that particular content, just call that function, pass the variable, that's it, right? So you don't need to do all these things. So for that purpose, it's simply, you can understand, like function is a piece of code. Whenever so you want to do the repetitive work, like the functionality, whatever. Let's take you're finding the area, so then the formula is the same. Let's assume. So you don't need to, every time you don't need to assign some variables like a equal to 2, b equal to 3, and after that you are doing this area formula. So let's take length is this and breadth is this. After that you are finding the area's length into breadth, L into B. So in that way, you can just create one function. In this case, you just need only two parameters like a comma b. That is nothing but L comma length comma breadth. And after that, and formula is same. Return area equal to L into B. So whatever values you're getting, so you're just returning that. So earlier in this case, you are using multiple steps, right? So a equal to bc, b equal to this, and after that you are calculating return only a into b. And after that again, whenever you're using the script in the below function, so below of the code, you're using same, you're calling that content again, you're writing the code multiple times. Instead of all these things, you can simply create a function, then you can access it. I'll explain with an example so that you will understand easily. So just go through this, like I'll tell you, so just listen to this, you'll understand very easily. Okay, the way to create a function is using this. Def is a keyword, so that means definition. Okay, so this is the way you can create a function. This is the name, you are giving your name. Ultimately what it was doing is just doing print hello from a function. So this is the way you can declare a function. Okay, so you can create a function. Whenever you want to call some your function, just you need to pass in this way, like my function is there, so here the user is calling my function, then this will be executed. See, Python programming will execute from top to bottom. Okay, but whenever the major definition of function is what? It's a piece of code or block of code which only runs when it's called. So whenever this function is there, it won't run by default. Okay, if you want to give this line, it won't run. So let's try this example. Okay, so let's see if I comment on this. Let's say it's commented, then I can click on run. You won't get this, because even though it was saying like print is there, it won't execute. Why? Because nothing was there. So if you won't call the function, then it won't execute. That is the meaning of function. Okay, whenever it's a block of code which will be executed only, it will run only when it is called. If you won't call, then it won't run. Okay, so like if if you're in love, you have to express. Otherwise, how the other person will understand you are in love or not? In the same way, you have to call, you have to express. How to express? This is the way. So you have to call that function. So my function is there. You're just calling that. Then it will understand. Okay, this function is there. Then I have to go to this, and okay, whatever content which was written inside that function, I have to execute. In this case, we just executing hello from a function. So I can do one more thing, like I can do this print. I can do multiple things. Okay, so print this hey, just return hey. So now if I run this, first it will execute, it will come to this, then this line will be executed. After that, this line will be executed. This is the way so the function will work. You have to define the function like this, and after that you can give the content in this way. You're calling this function only. The execution start from this particular line. Okay, my function cursor will come here. Okay, my function is there, so then it will come to here. Then whatever content you given inside, those will be executed. That is the way function works. Okay, so calling a function in this way, how to call. Next, arguments are nothing but parameters. Okay, so whatever you put inside that function braces, so that is nothing but arguments. You can also call it as a parameters. Okay, so in this way, so this is the best way to explain. Okay, uh, so you can do. So let's take your in your family. Okay, so you are writing whatever kids you have, so you're just giving their names. Okay, obviously their first name is the surname is same. So in this case, refness. Okay, so Emil, Tobias, and Linus. So these are the names of our kids. Okay, that will vary, but the surname, whatever the name he will carry, so that will be same, right? So that's the same example. So we'll see this. So my function is this, and whenever you using this, it will call this, and after that, this is the parameter. Okay, so this Emil was passed here, and the value whatever you given, that will be present here. Okay, so in this way it will work. Suppose if I give my name Perumal, so then Perumal refness, this will come. Okay, so this is the advantage of function. Okay, so inside this there are many other steps. Okay, print, okay, f name, or you can just put some plus after that, just to give grade, great guy. So whatever, so you can do like this. Okay, you can do like this, instead of writing each and every step. Suppose they given you task like you have to give the person name, and you have to add this surname there, and after that just mention that guy is a great guy. So instead of all these things, you can create a function. You can save multiple lines of code. So anyway, I'm just passing this. Ultimately I got the results. See, instead of writing these many times, let's take, now in this case it's only three. Let's assume you are doing this in a school activity. There are multiple kids, like many students are there, hundreds of students. So you can't do like this. Simply what you can do, you can store these things in a list. I can, one more interesting thing. Okay, so you don't need to call multiple times also. You again use for loop. For we can create one list. Okay, list names equal to, uh, I just give rumors. Then after that, Tobias, whatever, Tobias, then Linus, K, okay, this way. Then after that, for loop we already covered. Okay, for each underscore name, whatever variable name it might be, in lst underscore names, we're calling that function. We're passing this variable as each name. See, then in this case we just remove all these things. See, now what happens? Now the same output will come. What happening? This one, my function is called in this way. Perumal went after the five name is Perumal, and after that refness, and after this and great guy. Then after that, second one came, Tobias will came. So in this way, like you can store. Let's assume in a school you have hundreds of students. You can just simply store those names in a list. After that, you can use this kind of a loop. You just, with this simple line of code, you can understand here. Okay, so here I'm. What is this? Tanya, and then after that, Shika, after just Shanvi. So see, all these names. Okay, so instead of doing all these steps simple line by line, uh, best example is this: how many lines you saved, how much work you saved, because it's a repetitive task. The code has to be reusable task. Okay, so you already know, okay, I need to use this in again and again. So in that case, simply go with the function, create a function, uh, convert your logic in this fashion, then pass it. This is the best example. Okay, now just check this. So how many lines it was saved? So see, In case if I want to create this kind of function, I have to write for each person, I have to do this step, right? So this is the first time, second time, and for each person is 2 lines. Then how many lines of code you require? 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 to 12 lines of code is required. Now with the just simple, we just declare the names and 1 2 3 4 5, just with the 6 lines of code you reduce. Obviously when you increase the number of names, like number of people, uh, code is same, so you don't need to worry, code is same. With the six line of code, you did all the work. So that is the beauty of this function. Okay, so in this way you can save a lot of time and a lot of computational power also. So you don't need to write each and every line of code. This is the best explanation about functions. Okay, this is the best use case of functions. I hope you understand. Okay, what I'm trying to say. And next we go for the arguments. Okay, parameters or arguments will do the same thing. And whatever values you put inside the function braces, after the function name there is the braces will come. Inside the braces you can give the variables, right? Those are nothing but the arguments. Those are also known as parameters. Okay, it's the same example. Okay, the first name, last name. So in this way you can pass. You have to, there are some conditions. Okay, so here you are expecting two things, but here you are passing only one thing, then it won't work. It won't work like that. You have to pass two things. Emily, let's do Reddy. His name is Emily Reddy. Okay, Emil Reddy, whatever. So, so the logic is same. So you have to pass the first name and last name. If you declare something there, you have to do like this format only. So if you give only one element here, then it won't work because it was expecting two things. You are passing only one thing. How it will accept? It will throw an error. That's what you are getting here. Okay. See, it was missing one argument. You declared two arguments, but you are giving only one argument. How it will? So you have to remember this thing. So if you creating a function, if you declaring two arguments, then you have to pass two arguments in the function. So there are many tricks out there. So we'll cover each and everything. So so in case you don't know how many uh, content you are passing in that function, you don't know how many arguments you need to pass, then in that case this is the way you can handle that situation. Okay, you can use this hashtag sorry asterisk symbol. You can use this asterisk symbol and you can put whatever variable name you want to. And after that in the main function you are calling this function with multiple names. Okay, so you can do that step. So in case like you don't know how many content you are passing, how many parameters you are passing, that concept you don't know, then in that case simply you can create one asterisk symbol, and after that you can put the variable and you can pass the content here in this format, then it will execute fine. So this is the way you can execute. Okay, so if I put this kids of 0 now, then Emil will work. Emil will work. Okay, so in case if I put 2, then Linus will come. So that is the advantage. Okay, so of this asterisk symbol and passing the variable name, so it will accept whatever names you given, it will accept and will execute. Okay, yeah. Then or in this way also you can give child 1, child 2. This is like key values. Okay, keyword arguments you already declared. Okay, this is my keyword, this is my keyword, this is my keyword. So the best part is like, so child 3, child 1. So you can see the format here. So these are like keyword arguments you already clearly mentioned. If you want to call this method, uh, there are two ways. Okay, so just I'll explain. I'll see this. I'll tell you how to access the function with keyword arguments, and without keyword arguments, if you want to give what happens. I'll give Linus, then I'll give Tobias, and after that I'll give Emil. See, so I'm calling this function. Then this way is like what? This way Linus will come. So child 3. Okay, by default child 3 is child 3. So child 3 will come as okay. Let's take this as Emil only. Take this as Emil and this one as let's take just run this. Now we will get the answer as like the youngest child is Emil. Next, this one is youngest child is as how why. So if you given this function, if you want given the keyword values like in this case, child one is a keyword because the after the method whatever values you given inside the parentheses those are known as keyword arguments or parameters. So I can access the function. There are two ways to access. One is directly I can put the values. Another way is I can put the actual values, like I can call each one. So in this case, see, this format is like by default if you give like this, Emil will go to this child 3, Tobias will go to child 2, Ram will go to child 1. This is the format. In case if I want to modify this, I can assign in this format. Child 1 is Emil, child 2 is this, child 3 is this. In this way I given. So this is the logic. Okay, you can understand. There are two ways to call the function. One is directly you pass the elements. You're not following any keyword arguments. This is the order of this is the sequence of arguments. Okay, so in that case if you won't give the keyword values, then in this case a child 3 will be Emil and Tobias will be child 2 and Ram will be child 1. If you want to access the each element keyword value, keyword with a certain value, this is the format you can give. And you can change the format also, like child 3 has not need to be given in the first go. You can mention it in the last way because you already given the keyword, so it won't be any issue. So that's a way, that is a way to so access this keyword arguments. You can just click on this try and you can click on it. This step we already covered. Okay, so in case if you want to use what we can use one asterisk symbol for this way or arguments. So in case you want passing like this, if you want to use keyword arguments, like you don't know how many things you want to pass, the way is this way. This double asterisk you have to use, double asterisks you have to use. And after that you can use whatever variable name you want to give. Then after that you can pass in this way, first name, last name, those things. Here we didn't define those things, but still we are able to execute this with the help of this two asterisk symbol. So this is the way. See, the best part is this. We'll cover this example. This is like default value. Okay, so if you won't give any function, so this is like country is there. Here we given Norway as default. That means in passport also, in passport verification or those kind of things, if you went there, so by default option will be there. That means if you want to choose any option, you'll get the default option. So that is a by default value. So you can see this example. Let's take you creating one tour application, like tour trip. Either you can travel to India, like they are asking like this is a function, so you can give whatever country you want to give. So we'll put you there, like we'll give you the trip to that particular country. In case if you won't choose any that option, by default you'll end up with the Norway, so we'll go to Norway. So that is the logic. This logic is like my function Sweden is there. That means you will get I am from Sweden. In this country, by default value will be replaced by with Sweden, and you will get I am from Sweden. Next one is like my function India. So this value is also given. So in this country, Norway is replaced by India. In this example, my function, they're simply calling this function, but they didn't pass any argument, they didn't pass any value. Still, it will work because it has this function has a default value. If this default value is not there, then it won't work. It will throw an error. We'll see this. Just run this. It will give this. It will give an error because it was missing. It was expecting one thing, but it's not. You're not giving this. So then obviously it will face an error. It will throw an error. So then either way is like you can pass here Norway, or another way is directly country equal to Norway you give and call this method, then it will work. See, or if you want to give anything, just country equal to Norway, use this. Just click on this, then it will work. See, this is the way you can. Yeah. Then passing a list as an argument. Okay, list as an argument. You can pass this entire list as argument, which we already covered this in the for loop example. I just now explained. Just refer that. It won't be any issue. You can do all this kind of a multiplications. Okay, now if you run this method, it will return 15. 5 into 5 25, 9 5 the 45, those values will be written there. In this way you can use, you can simply create a function. You can give the whatever logic you want to give. Whenever you want to access this method by passing this value, you can pass that. Like, I'll give one example. You're calculating some insurance premium, so there is certain formula so for each person, so then you don't need to do all these steps. Okay, for a particular person, you can simply create a function. Okay, just passing the person's age, then based on that it will return that value that you can display in your application. So there are many ways but function is a very useful one. So in order to reusable the code, and in order to so make your application better for that kind of a thing, so you can use function. So this is the way pass is. We already covered this pass keyword. So what is the purpose of that pass keyword? It will just skip that particular. I mean, it won't do anything. It's do nothing. It just do nothing. So that is the advantage of this pass. So it's like a five-star ad. Do nothing. So yeah. So positional only arguments. Okay. So this is the way you can give. So you can specify that function can only have a positional arguments or only keyword arguments. So positional arguments means we cover this, right? So if you given the content in this format, like we check this example: child one, child two, child three. So where is this? See, this is like child three. Whatever values you given in the my function and child, I explained that example. Just go back and just check there. Those are nothing but positional arguments. Whatever values you given in that order, if you want to give the keyword, still it will work fine. That is nothing but positional arguments. These are like keyword arguments. You clearly declared, okay, child one is child. You clearly mention the keywords. So that is the major difference between positional arguments and the keyword arguments. And in case if you want to define, like, in my function, you need to pass through keyword arguments. You need to pass through only a positional argument. Then in that case, these are the ways. Okay, the comma and slash. So to specify that a function can only have positional arguments. Like you don't have any keyword arguments. Okay, you can't assign some keyword argument here. Suppose let's assume, so if I give x equal to 3, then in that case it won't work, because it was accepting only for the positional argument c. So earlier case it will work now. So in this way you can give comma and after that slash. So then in that case you can't give that position. You can sorry, you can't give the keyword. So you can just give to position only. So in case if you give 13, then it will work as it will print 13. So that is the way of position arguments. Okay. Then so you already check this one. Then keyword arguments, if you want to give keyword arguments, then this is the way. So you can't give positional arguments here. So whatever value you given, it will throw an error, because just in case in a function you have to specify that function, you have to call that function by passing the keyword argument. Then this is the way you can give. Okay. So you can combine. Okay, you can combine positional only and keyword only. So in this way you can do some multiple things. And recursion means a function. If you call the function itself, a function calling its function itself, then the it's like you have one function, you created one function. It's like it's a very interesting concept, recursion. That means a function will be called by itself. Then that is known as recursion. Okay. So recursion is a very useful one in DSA, so which we'll cover in the later sessions. But just remember, so just see this example. This is a function, you created one function. You're calling one function here. So this is the way you can with a def, and the name is like try underscore recursion, and you are just passing that variable k, and you are just checking if k is greater than 0, then k plus try recursion of k minus 1. So you are again calling this function only. So that's why we're calling it as a recursion. Recursion means a function called by itself. Here you can see this example. You declared, you created this, it will execute, and after that it will execute, it will come here, you're calling this, and again it will call this function, again this will iterate. So that's why function can call itself. Then this is known as recursion. So just understand this, and after just click on this, try this example, and just check, see it's like what it was returning. So just try to understand. So it's a very important concept in DSA. So data structures and algorithms. which we'll cover later. So in the long run. So that's it, guys, and that's I think we covered the good with the functions. So function is nothing but it's a piece of code or block of code which will be helpful in order to do the reusable stuff. So that's the overall definition. You need to understand about parameters and arguments. Both are same. Keyword parameter, positional arguments, keyword arguments, how to declare that, how to use that, how to access that. If you're aware of those things, then that's it. Then you're good to go. So that's it. We'll cover next things in the next tutorials. Yeah. Thank you.